I think that's it's something that's going to carry on in the trend we've seen to date. So I think financial services is going to continue to take a lead. I expect insurance to be a fast-growing space. Traditionally, it's an environment, a sector, if you like, that's not particularly willing to see new technology coming in. We're seeing a huge number of startup organizations in the machine learning space, in insurance, lots of data operations, lots of data quality products. So as that grows, as the industry starts to see what they have available to them as data, I expect insurance to see huge leaps following on the adoption of a wider AI set following that. In relation to the general governmental drivers and Brexit in particular, we've seen a general slowdown in uptake of technology as a whole, but nothing specifically driven by those particular topics. I think what we will see is there's some new regulation coming in the next year. The next couple of years is a very heavily regulation change space, certainly in financial services. So the LIBOR changes are a big piece, and the regulator is shifting their opinion of what is acceptable and what is fair for large corporates in their banking environment. So I expect those regulator-driven, less centralised government elements to be more impactful than any particular central government push. Obviously, a government that's more willing to accept the behaviours of small business and new technology and support us in that growth will boost any part of the economy that we sit in and thrive in with our clients. I think the interesting thing we're going to see here is actually not necessarily where particularly high or complex skill sets are tackled, but what we will see is an advancement on the top of or post RPA itself. So where a lot of businesses have given themselves a level and a structure of their own organizations, their own processes using this new technology, we'll see a lot more of those organizations now looking to expand the reach of their intelligence and their corporate knowledge, if you like, through machine intelligence. So we'll see a lot more people expanding out to the next level of complexity, picking up a lot of the pieces where robotic processing has stopped them in their tracks from what they want to achieve. So this world of this more decision focused, this more complex, will become very much the scene over the next year and onwards. Underwriting's got a problem, and that's a problem of governance, and it's a problem of governance that's occurred post an initial implementation of AI technologies. There's two ways that AI has been adopted in underwriting. Traditionally, underwriters have been people who have used pure expertise and many years of experience in order to make decisions that are risk-based calculations over insurance products. In recent years, the adoption of AI, in particular machine learning, has created a whole collection of new data sources of information to make those calculations. However, what we've seen is that there is a governance challenge now where those two worlds have met and aren't playing well together. You have the one world where data is taking the lead and human expertise is being left behind, and you have the other where human expertise is being returned to, and the data quality and the output of data is being ignored as a result of that friction. What we are seeing, and what we'll see a lot more of, and underwriting is a perfect example of where this can benefit an organisation, is a balance of human and a balance of machine brought together make that really powerful. And when you don't get the right technology, or in fact the right adoption of technology, you get a friction that is problematic to the success of a business, not supportive of its growth. Yes, it does. However, I think there's a further complication here in that the technology is new. So I don't think we have a standard. I don't think we have an expectation of what's good. So if you think to the basic principle of what makes good innovation, the argument is on many fronts the best position to be in is to be in the first follower position, to see somebody else go through it and learn from their mistakes. In essence, it's a little bit like being a little brother or sister and knowing when you can ask to go out to the park after 8 p.m. is you know what was said yes and no to previously. It's very similar to that. So you are going to get early adopters of technology, you're going to get pioneers who will get it wrong, and we have seen public examples where people have got it wrong. But the ability to be able to learn from that as not necessarily a particular industry, but multiple industries at the same time and see what's happening and learn from it, then yes, you will. If there's a lot more going on in a sector, you will make more advancement in that. Now, whether that's test and learn as you go along, or more of an agile approach, or whether that's a longer term and experiencing the outcomes of something slowly and making sure it's right, that's kind of up to the preference of the organisation themselves adopting it. Both work, neither's better, but the ability to look outside the organisation to see who else is doing it is going to be the key to success. The challenge, the fundamental challenge, is most people who are using these technologies, because of previous problems, don't necessarily want to say particularly loud that they're doing it. So the pool of people who are testing these technologies, using these technologies, but not saying anything particularly loud about it in the external market, it's quite problematic for people to be able to pick up what's going on and what's going well. I think if it was going to happen, it would have happened. That's not to say it won't happen. My view on this is very much that if you follow solid governance, then the application of AI is no different to the application of any other technology. And I don't mean in the implementation internally within structures of delivery for technology. I mean how anybody allows anything externally to be presented to their clients. If you do it in an uncontrolled way, then there's risk. I happen to think that the major risk actually is not to do with organisations being sued for something that they haven't got 100% right, but more likely that there is a building activist level of people who are doubtful or fearful of the application of AI and may just bring lawsuits or class actions against organisations just to slow the progress of this new technology. The recent piece in the Times, I think it was, in Scotland, about a willingness of people to use the government to slow the application of robots to jobs is a very, very good example, I would say, about where you're more likely to feel the pain of a number of people rather coming together who distrust in general rather than specifically responding to one or another case.